people have talked about what they've done. I mean, my introduction sort of says more or less what I do. One of the early examples of those projects was really built on Carl Bly's French project, at least the basic idea, which was to build open access, publicly accessible resources that students could use essentially for free. And that was seen as a big piece of what the public mission of a public university should be at the time that we started developing those resources. And that terrain has changed a lot. I want to talk a little bit about that. And it's made those projects in some ways easier, in some ways much more difficult. So we created an online open source, open access multimedia resource for teaching the sophomore government class in Texas that we essentially launched, over the space of a few years with the bare minimum permission needed. The other piece that I think is really important here, and there are people in here that are writing and blogging about this in a much more compelling way than I've done, and that is public scholarship can play a role in being not just the fulfillment of the mission or the higher order things that we think about, but can be very instrumentally useful for our graduate students. I was really glad to hear about the inputs that both of you are getting from graduate students to have somebody here. And I think that a lot of these projects are doing a great service to the graduate students in terms of providing them with skills and tools. If you want to be more robust about it, tools in their kits, a broader view of what they bring to the table when they go out there in the world, when they go to academic jobs, when they go to other kinds of jobs, when they forge a career path that may be a combination of the two that was much less prominent even 10 years ago than it is now. And so I think that public scholarship and this discussion around it is really critical for that, and I think we're doing a real service to our graduate students in having this conversation and following through on it.